Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Over It. I'm Tara Setmayer. This is Michelle Kinney. We are missing some of our illustrious co-hosts because there's been some scheduling things happening today. They're in transit. They may or may not make it, but if they do, fabulous. If they don't, that's okay. Michelle and I can hold down the fort if we need to, because I'm sure you're used to us hosting the stakes over at Seneca Project. So it is what it is today. We'll all hang out together. No worries. There's plenty to talk about, and there's plenty that we are freaking over. I mean, I could talk about how I'm over Charlie Kirk and that freaking display yesterday. If I swear to God, ridiculous. But we're over him. I'm not talking about freaking Charlie Kirk anymore. But there is some other news yesterday that kind of I feel like got buried and should have been part of, like, I don't know, major newscasts during the day, given the absolute disgusting nature of these text messages that were uncovered and published in Politico from a bunch of young Republicans, the future of the Republican Party, folks, speaking of Charlie Kirk and that culture. Well, we saw a glimpse into that culture. And we're going to get right into You're Over It, Michelle, because this is outrageous and infuriating.
Outrageous. And when I first was reading it, I was like, okay, well, I'm not surprised. Oh, racist Republicans, woo. But like, it actually was worse than I possibly could have even imagined.
Yep.
You know, and I know that you were part of college Republicans back in the day.
I was.
When you were at GW, and you know, I was
vice chair of my college Republican chapter.
You were a
at
leader.
GW. Yeah, and it was one of the largest in the country at the time.
Right. And so, you know, I was part of New York Young Democrats. I was also a member of Manhattan Young Democrats back in my younger Democrat days. And, you know, overall, it was a pretty earnest group of people. And while often a little self-important, I always, you know, their little speeches were, I'm like, you're not running for Senate, guys.
I know.
Let's take it easy.
I know.
But earnest, and really, I think at the end of the day, cared the most about making people's lives better, trying to do the right thing, with maybe an exception of like a handful of them. And it was really just about it being inclusive, right? And to see the polar opposite from the young Republicans, I mean, it is bigger than just a bunch of shitty little young Republicans. These people, to your point, are the future of the Republican Party, and the fish rots from the head. And look at the
pipeline. It's a pipeline, at least on the Republican side, probably with the Dems too. Yeah, that you start off in these groups. Especially some of the chapters that these people came from. New York is a huge chapter. I mean, like a lot of influence. And that is the pipeline to jobs, networking, getting into working for elected officials. That is like, it's the pipeline. So, you know, these aren't obscure positions. Right.
And so assume that, okay, let's say that the average age of these people, I don't know, I'm kind of making this up. I'm just assuming 22, 23. For the last 10 years, Donald Trump has been at the forefront of their Republican minds, like it has been shaping their worldview.
Yep.
And again, I compare, my husband and I were talking about this last night. I was like, we came of age in our 20s with Barack Obama. And before that was Bill Clinton and watching The West Wing. And that's why almost to a fault, we're a little too earnest and a little too, you know, Girl Scout about stuff, because you know, we see the world as what we want it to be and what it could be, and not this horrible racist version of it.
Yes. And so who did I come of age under? Reagan and George H.W. Bush. Right. And then in my 20s, it was Bill Clinton. So again, like George H.W. Bush talked about the points of light. Reagan was the optimist in the shining city on a hill.
Completely
very different.
Very different. And so this article it was a big scoop from Politico yesterday. I made a PDF because I think it's really important to see what these people wrote and who the people are and what they look like and where they're from. So, oops, wrong person.
Well,
not really. So Politico, here's the headline. I love Hitler. in quotes. Leaked messages expose young Republicans' racist chat. And there's just a little collage of their group chat, which I believe was on Telegram. Jason Bieferman and Emily, I don't know how to say her last name. Go.
You're asking the wrong one. I can't see it. I don't have my glasses.
NGO.
Okay.
I love it. We're just youth. So it says here, from New York, leaders of the young Republican groups throughout the country worried what would happen if their Telegram chat ever leaked, but they kept typing anyways.
I mean,
they refer to Black people as, and I'm sorry to repeat this because it's awful, they refer to Black people as monkeys and, quote, the watermelon people, and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believed supported slavery. So here are three of the biggest players here.
And of course, they look exactly like you would think
they
would.
look exactly what you'd think that they would look like. This is the master race, Tara.
These are the alpha males. These are the alpha males.
Master race. William Hendricks, the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair, used the words N-word and N-word, just in two different slang ways, variations of a racial slur, more than a dozen times in the chat. Bobby Walker, the vice chair of the New York State Young Republicans at the time, referred to rape as, quote, epic. Peter Gunta, who at the time was chair of the same organization, wrote in a message sent in June that, quote, everyone that votes no is going to go to the gas chamber. So, and then we have a
pause for a second.
Yeah.
Just for a second to let this sink in.
Mm-hmm.
These fucking people were joking about rape, sending people to the gas chambers, and making racial slurs. Now, as someone who has been on the recipient of virtually every single one of the insults that are listed in this little group chat, minus the gas chamber thing, because they don't know that my great-grandparents were actually German Jews that escaped Germany in the 20s.
Listen.
Because I didn't know that until my grandfather blurted it out one day, and sort of kind of, when he was 88. But that's another story. But it's true. So this is part of that culture.
Yeah.
This is not a one-off. This is not just, frat boy, young kids just playing around. This isn't just like, they think they're like, I'm going to use a 90s word, a wigger, thinking they're cool with using the N word without the R at the end because they think that that's socially acceptable because you're cool.
Right. It's like an A at the end or a UH.
Right. It's not cute, okay, because you might have a Black friend.
Hi, Julie.
There she is. Hey, Jules.
Hi.
None of this is okay. This is completely out of bounds. And there's no scenario whatsoever where one of these jokes, quote jokes, is okay. I just want to make that clear here.
No, absolutely. And even in jest. In jest, no. On no planet. A couple young women entered the chat here. This woman's name is
Shame
Annie
on them.
Kate something. She enters the chat here, and then we go further. There's a guy named Joe Maligno.
Maligno. Yeah.
He's from the Staten Island Young Republican.
Of course.
He says, "Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic." And then she says, this Annie young woman says, "I'm ready to watch people burn now." And then Joe says, "We got to pretend that we like them." Quote, "Hey, come on in, take a nice shower and relax." Boom, they're dead.
This is so sick.
Look at her.
I know.
It's like, and this is why I was like, I want people to see their faces. I want people to see who these young people are so that they can put a face to it and know that when they're faced with people like this, that, they look like innocent little young. No. A liberating atmosphere. I just highlighted a few things here. Together, the messages reveal a culture where racist, anti-Semitic, and violent rhetoric circulate freely. And the dynamic of easy racism and casual cruelty played out often in often dark, vivid, dark, vivid fashion inside the chats, where campaign talk and party gossip blurred into streams of slurs and violent fantasies. The group chat members spoke freely about the pressure to cow to Trump to avoid being called a rhino, the love of Nazis within their party's right wing, and the president's alleged work to suppress documents related to wealthy financier Jeffrey Epstein's child sex crimes. And then there's this guy, Gavin Wax.
What is that on his head? But go ahead.
Oh, the hair? It's very
what is that?
That's some good body. That's got some good body, though. But go ahead.
I mean, there's product involved. If that's real,
there's some mousse.
I like the product that he's got. That's pretty good hair. But go on. Sorry.
Yeah, but and I just highlighted this because, of course, when this guy Gavin Wax, who is confronted about this, he says, "Oh well, I take complete responsibility. I have no way of verifying their accuracy, and I'm deeply concerned that the message logs in question may have been deceptively doctored." They weren't.
No,
they weren't.
No.
And to that point, and we can come back to this, obviously, Kara, because I know that this young man named JD Vance is part of your over it. But I included his tweet here because JD Vance is out here saying that, oh, well, anything that the Democrats are saying now, separate issue, this thing that this Democrat said was not good. But he said that this is far worse than anything said in a, quote, college group chat. So, so this Bobby Walker guy, who now leads the New York State Young Republicans, touched on a similar theme, saying that he believes portions of the chat, quote, may have been altered. So this is like at least part of the cover here. Now, here's a couple, here's another person. He is the point we were making I cannot talk. The point we were making in the beginning, that these people are the future of the Republican Party. This person, Sam Douglas, is a Vermont state senator. He is a Vermont state senator.
I hope not for much longer.
I hope so too.
Who voted for him think twice about that.
Yes, using slang like the F word, not F-U-C-K, the other one that refers to gay people, the R word, the N word again. In one instance, Bobby Walker, the guy in the top right here, who at the time was a staffer, talked about how a mutual friend of some in the chat dated this very obese Indian woman for a period of time. And Peter Guntis responded that the woman, quote, was not Indian. She just didn't bathe often. And didn't bathe often is what Sam Douglas, the Vermont state senator, was saying.
And didn't this junta guy also make a reference to flying and if a pilot was darker than Sicilians?
Yep. He says, if your pilot is a she and she looks 10 shades darker than someone from Sicily, just end it there. Scream the no word.
Well, we're going to scream the JoJo word and say, hi, Joe.
Yes. Hello,
welcome.
Hi, sorry. Oh my God. Look, can we please?
Oh yeah. We've already gone there, Joe.
And then so
master again, race, right?
Yeah, master race.
Master basement baiter. That's what they are. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. On the top right corner, we have a young man named Luke Mosselman. He is the chair of the Arizona Young Republicans, asked if the New Yorkers in the chat were watching the NBA playoff game. And Peter Gunta responded, I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkey play ball. And then referred to them as the Watermelon people. And William Hendricks, the beautiful specimen here at the bottom of the screen, made a similar remark in July. Bro is at a chicken restaurant ordering his food. Would he like some watermelon and Kool-Aid with that?
This is junta again?
No, that was Walker. Or sorry, no, that was William Hendricks.
Well, I have an idea. If they are saying that their texts are altered, let's see them.
Right. Let's see them. If they're altered, then let's see the chat. Let us see your phones.
Right. And let's see the phones, see whether they altered it or not. I mean, the reality is this is unconscionable. Like, that's all there is to it.
Unconscionable. This little Nazi haircut that this man has. First of all, where is he? Where is he walking?
He's in a pumpkin patch. I mean, I think that might be where he spawned from.
In a full suit.
But he does look like a pumpkin if you put a pumpkin in a suit. It's like just a potato head.
This is a photo shoot, just so you know.
Yeah, this is like I'm running for office or I'm the young Republican and I want someone to take my picture.
This is the best you could do at a photo shoot, just to be clear.
I just like to say a shout out to folks in the chat. we have the greatest, most creative people in our chat that
Pat.
follow us.
It's
Somebody said that they are the unfuckables.
Yes.
Somebody else said the clancestry.
Oh
Oh my God.
I mean, listen, we're
Yeah.
making fun of them because mockery is
You have
also a
to.
way they
You have to.
hate that. But at the same time, we are so horrified by this, and
Mhm.
everyone should be. And it kind of leads into my over it, because the fact that more Republican leaders are not as horrified, including the vice president of the United States, is part of the problem
Yeah.
and why we're here. Because they, as Julie said, it's not doctored. Okay. That is the excuse that everyone's going to use.
Yeah.
Michelle and I talk about this all the time with the Epstein files. It doesn't matter at this point if Donald Trump is caught on video in a photo with naked young girls. He's going to say it's not real, it's doctored, it's fake, because that's the excuse that they all will make now instead of taking responsibility. So as soon as you know that they default to that, unlike the Democrat who referenced in this earlier and referenced in JD Vance's tweet, which Michelle had put up, because JD Vance felt as though he's not going to pearl clutch. This is just that it's just them joking around. He said the same thing about other really offensive things, like the things that Donald Trump said. Oh, he was just joking. It's just a big joke. No, it's not.
Yeah, take a joke. Why don't you have a sense of humor?
Yeah, this is not just a kiki, funny, jokey joke. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Okay. And the same thing when Donald Trump has made many references to Nazi language about vermin and poisoning the blood and all of these kinds of awful things that he has said and elevated more and more. I guess Elon Musk's Sig Heil signal was just a joke. Like,
right. Well, and then on the other side of this, Tara, is like, so JD Vance is saying no big deal.
Right.
But then there's a bunch of Republicans who have come out and been like, this is atrocious.
To their credit, yes.
Elise Stefanik being one of them, who getting an award. Here's getting an award from Bobby Walker and the New York, young Republicans. And, of course, her her advisor, Alex DeGrasse, who I've talked about at length, is a horrible human being. So the fact that he's even coming out here, I was like, listen, I'm sure that there's some chats that he's on that are very similar. I don't know that. I'm just assuming.
Right. But, and she's running for governor of New York. So that's a little problematic for her.
Correct. So, and this is them saying here, they support how much they love the teenage Republicans. They're talking about this, the even younger, more future of the Republican Party. They support slavery and all that shit. Mega based, he said. The term based, meaning in internet culture, is to express approval with an idea or one that's bold or controversial. I mean, this is them saying sex is gay. Sex, it was rape. Epic, Walker says. I mean, these are the people. And so this is
900 pages. 29.
Spare me with the pearl clutching from the Republicans who are calling it out. And I'm like, this is your party. You created this, you enabled it, you built it up, and you continue to lick the boots and kiss the ass of Donald Trump, who is the head of this snake.
Yep.
Yeah. And nothing will change.
No. That's my point. Because you look at JD Vance's response to this, and they keep just saying that, like we have a problem because we can't take a joke, or what about this situation? They're trying to use here what's happening in Virginia, which is very unfortunate. And the attorney general candidate in Virginia, Jay Jones, leaked text messages came out last weekend of him basically wishing death on the children of a political opponent that he was mad about. This was 3 years ago. Doesn't matter really when it was. Completely unacceptable, very unhinged. But the difference here is that he apologized for it. He didn't make excuses. He didn't say it was doctored. He flat out apologized for it. I still find it problematic. I probably will not vote for him now. Thankfully, I did not vote early yet. We can in Virginia. Early voting has already started back in September, actually. And my husband and I were talking about this, and I'm like, I don't think I can vote for someone that wishes the death of children and that they die in their parents' arms to make a political point. It feels very unhinged, and that tells me about their character and decision making in anger. I don't like it. So I may leave it blank. I don't know what to do. But but the difference again, because this is what the Republicans, and last night on Abby Phillips' show, my friend Keith Boykin was quite incensed about this, and Abby was pretty taken aback by it. But you had Ben Ferguson and some other MAGA chick on there, basically trying to, what about this? To Ben Ferguson's credit, he did say, he did condemn it, okay, but it was quick to be like, but what about the Democrat and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys. So this is the byproduct of this. Don't think that this doesn't have consequences. Look at this video that I saw the other day, and I put it in our chat yesterday. Look at this guy walking down the street, I believe in Illinois.
Yep. And by the way, I know that these people are dangerous, but like, what a loser.
What's your name?
That's the thing. They're all losers. Yeah.
Adolf Hitler, huh? Why are you doing this?
Mexicans and Jews.
Mexicans and Jews? What about Mexicans and Jews?
Illegal immigrants and Jews.
No, you guys are the illegal immigrants. You need to read a book. You need to be educated before you make assumptions like that and you do some stupid shit. Huh?
You want to see ice?
Sure.
Yo, we're showing up at your house.
Yeah? Where do I live?
Yo, follow me to my house. I can chop you up like a cartel.
Oh, really?
What?
Are you sick in the head?
He said something about
you
if you
got
come
issues?
to my house,
You
I'll
got
chop you
issues?
up or something.
Yes.
I'm just asking because you seem like you are. Who walks
Drive north on
around?
Kellogg Avenue for
Who
a
walks
half mile.
around like this? What's going on? Like, come on, man. Have some respect for humanity.
I don't fear Trump.
Trump is nothing but a fucking evil man. You guys are his puppets.
I don't care.
Yeah, I can tell. People like you have no education,
No,
have no direction.
Sorry, are you MS-13?
Do I look like MS-13?
Yeah, with all the tattoos all over your face.
Yeah. The real criminal here is you.
Good.
Good, huh?
So this
So what's
goes
your name
on.
again?
Is
This goes on. We can stop it now. But
on the sidewalk of his development? Because that's what it looks like. By the way, he's not dressed like Hitler. He's dressed like Rolf from The Sound of Music.
right, I know. I was like, wrong colors.
I am 16.
I mean, literally,
You
like
are
all we need to
17.
do is give him a pagoda to dance around it.
right.
What? Who are these people? But the part of this that I think is troubling is that if this were 10, 15, 20 years ago, this guy would be making national news.
Oh,
Yes.
Right? Like this would be running nonstop on CNN and ABC and everywhere else. Right now, just another day in the park where this guy's walking through some random development, wherever the hell he is, down the sidewalk. And I guess it's okay, right? And like, where is that? Do we know where that took place?
It's in
Illinois.
suburbs of Chicago.
Well, right. So there you go. By the way, the suburbs of Chicago, thank you for pointing that out. Does anybody remember the Skokie March in the 70s? Let me tell
Skokie,
you.
Illinois.
Skokie, Illinois had a tremendous number, and maybe still does, but this is in the 70s, a tremendous number of Jewish residents, including many Holocaust survivors, because it was not so long after the war. The Ku Klux Klan decided that they were going to march through Skokie, Illinois, and they picked that town specifically because there were a lot of Jews there. And the ACLU defended the right of the Ku Klux Klan, including a Jewish attorney at the ACLU defended their right to vote. And I will tell you to march. And actually, I agree with that.
Yeah, he has a right to walk down the street.
It's
It's part of free speech.
First Amendment right. However, that was such a massive national controversy that there were fictionalized miniseries made about this, that I was not even around for that. But what is it, 50 years later, I still can talk about it. Because it became a huge issue, and it became a huge issue of free speech versus obviously protecting the feelings of Holocaust survivors who saw people marching down the street trying to advocating their murder. And now, thanks to our media, it is just another day in the park. And that's the part to me that is the scariest. We've always had guys dressed like Rolf walking down the street with armbands. Like that's always happened. But it became acceptable somewhere along the way, so much so the media doesn't talk about it anymore. We have to because they don't.
And how old would you say that guy was? Probably 23, right? 22, 23, maybe
Probably,
24. I don't know. I didn't get a good look at him. I don't have glasses on, but
he had
but
like a little facial hair.
yeah. So like most of his formative years of his life, he has known Donald Trump in some capacity, right? This thing I think about with my kids all the time, but particularly like people his age, that they've only known this, and that because, to your point, Julie and Tara, also the leaders have failed, but the legacy media has failed. It has not only become normalized, it's become intertwined in the fabric of public discourse of who we are. Like, he's not just doing it because it's his First Amendment right. He's doing it to shock people. He's doing it to get attention, because we live in an attention economy too. Yeah. But this person, this fucked up, sorry, Julie's dad, loser, who probably couldn't organically get laid if he like walked into a brothel with a bunch of fucking coupons for free blowjobs. He
Sorry, Dad.
He's only known this sort of shit, and the society has failed to tell him not to stay in his fucking basement with his Lubriderm. That's the problem.
I just want to editorial statement, Dad. I don't even know what JoJo's talking about. She's talking about
you mean a sexual matador, Julie? Yeah. Remember, that is my name.
Joe, I don't know what your bad.
Oh, come on. We're from Jersey. She could have used a truck stop reference, but
I do Lombardi rest stop actually is the reference if she wanted to use anything.
Well, I do want to give
credit. Like people engage in acts that I don't know anything about.
Of course not. I do want to give some credit though to Kathy Hochul, who, we were talking earlier about Elise Stefanik is going to run for governor, and she will be running against Kathy Hochul. And Kathy Hochul was asked about this yesterday, and this is what she had to say.
Reported on a group chat of a bunch of young Republicans. I'm wondering your thoughts on that, and does this reflect, is it just some bad young apples in this chat? Or do you think there's a toxicity around the entire party?
Some bad apples. These are the future of the Republican Party. This was so vile. It is hard to find the words to put into context that these are people who are part of a political party, one of two major political parties, and they believe in gas chambers and rape and discrimination based on the color of people's skins. These are racist, sexist, disgusting remarks. And I would say this. We have a leader from the Republican Party in this state, the highest ranking individual, who in the backdrop of all this calls our candidate for mayor, one of our candidates for mayor, a jihadist and a terrorist, and then somehow says, oh, what they said, these young Republicans, was wrong. Like, look at what you say yourself. Look at your inflammatory words. And maybe they have an effect on these young people, many of whom you support and have supported you. And you ought to just do a little re-examination of how far this has gone, where this is normalized enough that thousands of texts are uncovered. This is not one person saying they love Hitler. This is a whole lot of people saying things that are so disgusting and so abhorrent that everybody from the president on down should condemn them. And there's got to be consequences. Kick them out of the party. Take away their official roles. Stop using them as campaign advisors. There needs to be consequences. This bullshit has to stop.
Good for her.
Yes, girl.
Meanwhile, they're gaslighting us all into believing that when we called them rightfully fascist, Joe Biden said that MAGA was semi-fascist, and they were apoplectic, right? They lost their mind. They're gaslighting, right? They're gaslighting the entire country and world into believing that the violence, the unfortunate violence that has happened, is because of our rhetoric in labeling them correctly as fascist and authoritarian. Meanwhile, to her point and to everybody's point here, these are the words that they are using in regular parlance. This is how they're talking to each other.
So here's my, that leads me, thank you for setting this up. That leads me into my overt Joe, because George Stephanopoulos did something on Sunday with JD Vance that I think should be applauded and emulated. JD Vance started bullshitting, and George Stephanopoulos went to commercial break and effectively cut his mic off.
Yep.
As a result, Donald Trump at a press conference yesterday refused to call on ABC News, basically banned them because of the way they mistreated, Stephanopoulos mistreated JD Vance.
I have both clips, by the way, if you'd like to.
Yeah, I would love to play those in a second. I don't give a shit. More people need to do this. And by the way, when you have Ben Ferguson, I didn't see that yesterday, or anybody else, I have a lot of, I still follow a lot of my former friends at Fox, not some of them I still talk to, who are like, well, this was awful, but Democrats should sit down and shut up because of what's happening with the Attorney General candidate in Virginia, who sent some pretty disgraceful emails. Well, first of all, he apologized for those.
Yeah.
And took ownership of them. There's no both sidesing this shit.
No.
I am a Jewish woman, and these people want to put me in a gas chamber. We are all women here, and they believe we deserve to get raped because we disagree with them.
Yeah, or hung, or lynched, like they say to me as a woman of color all the time, and get raped by gorillas, which is something that is a common. That's a common thing, and burned, raped by gorillas, hung from a tree, burned alive. Like we get it all.
Whatever listen. This is who they are, because I will tell you, the people that you're seeing on screen right now, the four of us, we're on a group chat 24/7. And I promise you, if those chats ever leaked, you wouldn't see language like that ever. You know why? Because it's not in our hearts. It's not something. It's not in our heads. It's not something that is inherent to us that we say, oh, there's little private. Like I can talk to you guys about anything, right? But this is not stuff that any of us would talk to each other about because it's not who we are.
Nope.
This is who they are. Believe them when they tell you who they are.
Yep.
Believe them. And the media doesn't want to believe them. The media is like, well, both sides, and look at this guy from from Virginia and Democrat. No, there's no both sides to putting people in gas chambers or saying would say to Tara if they ever saw her. Of course, they wouldn't say it to Tara's face because they're
that's true.
Who sit in like their little bunkers and do this. But the reality is, you have a woman who's saying that she wants to put people in gas chambers.
A couple. There was more than one woman on that, which is just outrageous. But Hitler and Goebbels both had women. So
So my attitude about all this.
Nome.
Yeah, look at Kristi Noem. So and Pam Bondi. I mean, look, and Carolyn Levitt. I did a whole segment on MSNBC yesterday about these women wearing crosses. As they're literally one of the first things that Donald Trump did, and I'm sorry, I'm going to stop on my tangent, but one of the first things that Donald Trump did when he came into office on January 20th, 2025, was take away sanctuary status from places like churches. You have migrants literally in Grand Rapids, Michigan in June, a woman and her 3 children and her husband who were about to self-deport back to El Salvador, as this administration wanted. The husband gets seized for no reason whatsoever because he was literally about to self-deport. The mother and the 3 children run into a church in Grand Rapids, Michigan, asking for sanctuary. My God, where have you seen this before? And the ICE agents could have gone in there, and I believe did go in there, because now you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to violate. And these fucking people, sorry, Dad, but actually I'm not sorry, are wearing crosses, these performative crosses every fucking day. Now, I'm not Catholic. They all are. But I will tell you, I spent a lot of time, as I said, with my husband at church. He's Catholic. And what I hear in church on Sundays when I go with him is diametrically opposed to what these women are doing.
Well, that church, not a lot of evangelical churches now, especially the mega churches.
These women are Bondi Catholic, Vance Catholic.
Well, recently converted
Catholic. Yeah, Opus Dei Catholic.
Levitt Catholic. Right?
Bigger the cross, the bigger the bullshit.
Right. The crosses that they wear. I'm not even fucking Catholic, and I'm sorry to Catholics. I should not put those 2 words together. I'm not even Catholic. I'm a better Catholic than they are.
Well, Cardinal Dolan. I mean, there's a lot. They got a lot of issues over there, and the fact that there's that influencer on Instagram. I forget her name. I wish I could remember right now. That does the parodies of Caroline Levitt.
Oh, and she's so funny
with the crosses, and she makes the big obnoxious crosses out of everything you could possibly think of, from like soda cans to like sausages to like a water bottles. Like she does, like I mean, it's hysterical, but it's to make the point that they're such hypocrites and trying to put it in your face. And meanwhile, they're doing everything in complete opposite of what Jesus stood for. And the constant double sides, both sidesing this is so frustrating. I bring that up in my TED Talk. I use that as an example that people should be under no obligation to tell both sides of a lie. And that's partially how we got here in the media.
You know what? You have those clips. Can you play them, Michelle, just so people see what real journalism might look like? Go ahead.
Yep.
And Tara, that goes back to the guy walking around looking, in the yellow shirt. Same thing. It all feeds the same friggin' 8-armed monster.
Yep.
Absolutely. Here's the end of that Stephanopoulos, JD Vance interview.
I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility. Because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about. Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government. You are focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
Yeah, it's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next, we'll be right back.
Yep. Get out of here with that bullshit.
By the way, side note, weird left-wing rabbit hole is probably like sex talk to JD. That's his safe word for one of his pieces of furniture.
Left-wing rabbit hole.
Our couch is recording.
Says to Peter.
Sorry.
I can't.
Well, I mean, am I wrong? Here's the clip of Trump in the press conference then complaining about this.
The news, and I'm sure they'll be extremely non-hostile and friendly. Like JD went through a very friendly interview with George Slobodanopoulos, who was nice enough to pay me $16 million the last time we came. He had to pay $16 million to me, which was good. It was worth having somebody lie. If you get $16 million, that's good. But JD had a very nasty person interviewing him, and we can't let that happen. Just as inappropriate.
Can't let that
to
happen.
cut off a highly respected vice president of the United States mid-sentence. I guess it's one way to win an argument. That was the only way he was going to win the argument. So it was pretty inappropriate. I want to tell you that. So thank you very much.
Why is he wearing an earpiece?
I think because
he's talking Argentina.
Yeah, he's the Argentina guy was there.
Rock star, $20 billion bailout, Argentina.
God.
Which is my over it when we get to that.
Yes.
By the way, can we just sidebar on what the fuck color he is right now? Because
I know
it's not. We've all become accustomed to the normal melted circus peanut hue that he has, but like this is new. Like it looks like he was shellacked with Dex stain, and like it's also like it's baked.
What do I call it, Michelle? I call it shoe polish shit shellac. I mean that color. I don't know what that is.
He's also
sorry to sidebar on that, but yeah,
he's also lost a lot of weight, and maybe that's Ozempic, but maybe it's something else because he's
maybe
not
it's
well.
Odessa.
Yeah, he looks pretty gaunt. And as a sidebar, he complained about the Time magazine cover, and influencers have been going in on this. And I heard a term yesterday that I'd never heard before, and I almost died laughing because someone said that Trump was on the cover of Time with his nussy out.
Nussy. I call it the neck fupa, but Nussy's good. Nussy's really good.
I was like, oh my God.
I'm sorry.
You guys,
but
there are great plastic surgeons both in Palm Beach and in New York. I don't understand. Like,
I don't understand either.
Read my lips.
Look at it.
No.
I actually saw one meme that was like, I should have pulled it. It was like this, and then like an umbilical cord coming out of it, and then a newborn baby.
Oh my God.
47.
In that. Oh, God bless whoever put that on there.
Well, then he complained.
Of course.
At 1:30 in the morning. Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time, capitalized. They, quote, disappeared my hair and then had something floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one.
Oh, okay. Go back
really
to
weird.
I never used to floating. So lazy.
Right. I never liked taking pictures, but underneath I never like taking pictures from underneath angles, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing and why? And I
President of the United States, folks.
Can you go back to that picture for a second? I want to look at that crown.
Mirror?
Oh, yeah.
Your crown.
That, because you understand that's the M over time.
Oh my God.
Fucking
M. More like horn.
By the way, his triumph is the title of a Time magazine cover of this piece of, you know what? I don't know why I did that, but piece of shit. And that is a very flattering title for a cover for him. And by the way, this is what he looks like.
Yes, like, every day.
Wait. I have actually an over it, which I know I'm going twice, but I have to call out this fucking article right now. The leader Israel needed. First of all, how about the leader America needed? Because that's who he's running, for. And the second, how Gaza heals. This framing of what is going on in the Middle East right now is ridiculous.
Oh, it's
Gaza
insane.
is not healing. Hamas is still in charge. They're executing people who are, they think, collaborators, whatever the hell that means. Trump has given the AOK to do that on his way over to the Middle East on Air Force One. And the Israelis are still in Gaza, and there's still violence happening right now. So Gaza is not healing. Let's be very clear on that. If I were people in Gaza, I would be trying to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible. That's one. And two, the leader Israel needed? No, nothing. Listen, the only thing that I'm thrilled about is that those 20 hostages came home.
And the Palestinians as well.
But I'm saying for Israel. Yes, I see this, but I'm saying for the perspective of the leader Israel needed.
Gotcha.
The leader Israel needed is somebody who's going to say to Bibi, your time is up.
Yeah, not you should pardon Bibi Netanyahu because he's the greatest war president ever in the history of Israel, which is insane.
War would not have happened if Bibi Netanyahu hadn't been funding Hamas for 20 years to make sure there was
to keep himself in office. Yep.
Not to mention the fact that they waited until Donald Trump was in office to do this. Because Joe Biden had brokered this deal, and Bibi said, "No, I want to wait until my buddy can say I
need a Donald Trump president, not a Joe Biden president."
And by the way, the only thing that makes me happy about this whole situation, other than the people got released, is that Bibi Netanyahu has been playing the Democratic Party for the last 20 years by creating a coalition and a friendship with American evangelicals. He has said publicly, I don't give a shit about American Jews because I've got the evangelicals. And every time Joe Biden or Barack Obama tried to do something there to create a two-state solution, Trump would deploy the evangelicals. Well, this time he couldn't do that because Trump has more control over the evangelicals than Bibi does. So you know what, Benjamin Netanyahu, you wanted this guy in office. He's going to bring about your demise because of what you did. You would have been better off with Kamala Harris, you dumb son of a bitch. So from my perspective, Bibi's getting exactly what he deserves. And that is not the leader Israel needs. Neither Donald Trump nor his enabler, Benjamin Netanyahu. And Gaza is not healing. So shame on you, Time Magazine.
I agree.
And at least Jake Sullivan came out and said, who was Joe Biden's national security advisor, and finally said, oh, well, I'm glad that they're using the framework of the peace deal that we negotiated and we were putting together to move forward here, because the Biden administration is getting raked over the coals and Trump is getting all this credit when they did make inroads, and they know they didn't finish the deal, but there were all kinds of things going on there. And the peace deal that they're now pointing to, the bones of it came out from out of the Biden administration. It might have been Blinken who said it. It was Sullivan or Blinken, but at least they're trying to be like, yeah, that's great that you guys finally are recognizing the work that we were doing and the fact that they got 70 hostages out as well. So like,
and by the way, Biden acknowledged that as well in a tweet that was very complimentary to a person who was over there, like criticizing him yet again. But to this title, it brings me to my over it that I'm going to go through really fast, because this says everything. This is the guy who says he's America first, right? So my over it is this bullshit America first shit. When these are stats, right? Groceries are up 0.6% this month, 2.7% since last year. Meat, poultry, fish, and eggs are up 5.6%. Beef is up almost 14%. Guys, go to the store and try and buy a freaking steak, right? Ground beef, $6.63 a pound. Chicken is $2.08 a pound. Vegetables are up 3%. Even restaurant prices are up 4%, right? Everything is moving in the wrong direction. Coffee, fruits and vegetables, bananas, everything. The GDP is down. Inflation is up. Wages are down. Manufacturing jobs are down. Jobs in general are at their lowest since in 4 years, since this motherfucker screwed us up last time. All of these data points here. Soybean farmers losing their shirts, small businesses losing their shirts. Everything in America, thanks to Donald Trump, is moving in the wrong direction. But what is he doing? He's brokering peace, which is bullshit over there. He's bailing out Argentina. He's getting billion-dollar airplanes. None of this. He's giving the Qataris, whatever Pete Hegseth said originally and then tried to walk back. But this is not America first. And when I have those freaking trolls, and I'm sure there's some in the chat,
there are
telling me to cry harder because this is what they voted for, because this is America first, I'm sorry, but I'm going to call bullshit on that, because it's not America first. It never was America first. It's America last. It's Donald Trump first. That's it. They're not bailing out Argentina to help our soybean farmers. They're bailing out Argentina because Scott Bessent, who, by the way, whose skin is he wearing on his face? Because I don't understand what is happening with that guy. But he looks like he's wearing someone else's skin. So that his buddies don't lose on bad bets. That's what Argentina is about. And that is doubly hurting our soybean farmers. And
China's buying the soybeans from Argentina now instead of our farmers.
And this is not a bailout, right? And then he's taking the tariffs from the tariff shelf, whatever the hell that is, to say he's bailing out the soybean farmers. Friends, they're not going to be any soybean farmers. This is to help those soybean farmers recover what they've already lost and what they already owe. They're not coming back to plant soybeans. That's it. Game over. So please do not tell me ever again, for as long as I live, that this person and this party is America first. We're in a shutdown. We're in a shutdown. People are not getting paid. People are on food lines. Our active duty military are struggling. And he is playing peacemaker in another country while bailing out a South American country to help his friends. America first, my ass.
Amen to that. Imagine if Barack Obama had done that.
Oh, God.
Or Joe Biden during a shutdown when our military families are standing in fatigue,
in bread lines,
in food bank lines. Okay. And then the president, a Democratic president, has a questionable leader from another country in the Oval Office, and we're giving $20 billion to bail them out while our military can't feed their fucking families.
Do you remember when Barack Obama went to the Middle East?
What a betrayal!
And bowed in front of the king.
Yes,
or whatever.
I do.
And went to Japan and did what people in Japan do. Instead of shaking hands, they bow to each other, which is their.
I remember.
And everybody went ballistic. How dare we are hosting the Qataris who are hosting Hamas,
and Muslim Brotherhood.
And the Muslim Brotherhood. What it was one of the same. What is going on? What is is there anything, Tara? I have to ask you, because you were a Republican for most of your life. Is there any ideal for which you and other members of the Republican Party stood 15 years ago that is any resemblance to what is happening right now? Like anything?
Nothing. There's nothing. I just talked about this. I taped a panel yesterday for the 92nd Street Y's annual democracy conference. And it was me and David French. I think it airs on October 23rd.
Right.
We were talking about the split in the Republican Party. And one of the questions was, is there a split? And I was like, not anymore. In the first term, you could make that argument. This time around, there is no split because, to your point, Julie, there are no sane establishment Republicans who have any iota of principle of what Republican principles used to be anywhere near the Republican Party today. They have all sold out, every last one of them. They've either sold out and bought knee pads like Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio, or they've left the party or are not running for re-election anymore. The Mitt Romneys, the Jeff Flakes, and people like that. They're gone. And to even insinuate that today's Republican Party is somehow normal, it's just had a little bit of a realignment or whatever bullshit the media tries to describe this as, is so disingenuous, because that's not the case. That's why I left the party back in 2020. I tried to fix it from within. There were those of us who tried to keep them honest, and they all sold out. And then after January 6th, nothing is sacred.
No.
Nothing. Not one ounce of the Constitution is sacred. Look at what they're doing to the 10th Amendment. States' rights used to be a whole thing, whole hallmark in the Republican Party. That's right. So I started with the 10th because of states' rights, which is always a big one.
Like the list goes on, right?
Right. The 4th Amendment, the 5th Amendment, the 1st Amendment, the 14th Amendment, things that were in the Bill of Rights that used to be sacrosanct for Republicans is out the fucking window now. They're all in the cult. And that's why the party should be burned to the ground and vanquished to the ash heap of fucking history with the rest of the authoritarian movements that when Americans stood up, that we helped to eliminate, which I think is a good transition to our No Kings promo, because we've got No Kings coming up on Saturday. Speaking of rights and exercising them, the Seneca Project partnered with Indivisible to put out 2 promos. They're pretty kick-ass, if I do say so myself. And I think it's important that everyone who's watching, if you are able to go out and exercise your First Amendment right on Saturday peacefully, you need to do it. We have to.
If you are a white person who was born in this country, you have absolutely no excuse. None.
Zero. I mean, you have all the privileges, and now's the time to step up, because history is calling. What are we going to do in this moment? And that's what our second promo, which is called Stand Up, is about. And I think we should roll it.
We are together as one.
Yeah, I'm standing right here. I ain't got no fear, no fear, no fear. Whole world is watching, and I hope we ready, we ready. Been through a whole lot, but we overcome.
People need to come together.
No kings, no kings. I was waiting for this, and now it's my turn.
This is restoring my faith in humanity. We are stronger together.
We got the power.
I love this country.
Not bad.
Once again, well done. Amazing. Good and inspirational. You guys are, and I'm not just saying this because we're on this panel together. I truly believe that you're putting out the best content right now. Like you just are between this and, well, certainly American Girl last year, but between this and the Charlie Kirk video, like just incredible content, you guys.
Thank you.
So I will say this as somebody who was not born in this country and is a naturalized citizen, and therefore they'll probably come for me before they come for everybody else. Please come out this weekend, because we need you, and we're all in this together, and we have to do it for ourselves. We need to do it for our kids. We need to do it for the vulnerable people they're coming after now, who are requesting sanctuary, places like churches, who are being hidden under beds, which is what happened
in Chicago, right?
Chicago, which is what happened to a little girl and her mother, who desperately knocked on a neighbor's door and asked to be hidden, and he didn't know what to do. And he told the little girl, who he said was, quote, inconsolable, to hide under his bed until the agents left. These agents are operating in our name. Our taxpayer dollars are paying for this. What does this have echoes of, my friends?
Yeah, 1930s.
Doesn't repeat,
Germany.
but
not even 1930s or 1940s.
Well, yes, when
Frank did not go up to that attic until the 1940s. I kept saying we're living in Berlin, 1933. We are way past 1933 right now, and I think Hitler analogies are lazy. And I think there was only one Adolf Hitler, but I don't think that anymore, my friends, because we are there is no end to their malfeasance.
Nope.
And to, I don't want to, be like an optimist or whatever, but these marches, these rallies, these moments, right? What they give us is the antidote to everything that we're experiencing right now, which is connectedness to each other and a reminder of the power that we actually do have and that our voices still carry. But when we connect with each other, it empowers and it makes people feel seen and less gaslit and obviously less alone. And then that's how you build a movement, right? That's how you build an opposition. But it's supposed to, they want us to be afraid, disconnected. They want us to be afraid to go to these protests. They will try. They are using language now, calling it Antifa, hate rallies, blah, blah, blah. They want us afraid to do this, but we have to show up in numbers too large to ignore and too large to arrest. We have to show up with our kids. We have to show up with our pets, with our grandmas. If you can't march, show up with a car full of bottled water and chips and snacks. You can find a way to participate because we are still here. The power of the people is still stronger than the people in power. And moments like these give me the chills because we have a moment. So that we can stand up now and not look back in a year and say, coulda, shoulda, woulda. It is now. The moment is now.
Because history doesn't remember the quiet.
Right.
The people who were silent, that is complicity. Apathy is complicity in this. We do not have the luxury to sit back and expect somebody else to fix it. It's up to us to fix it. That's how we got here in the first place. Too many people decided to stay home, or they were mad about one single issue and they thought it didn't matter to them, especially people in the immigrant community that voted for Donald Trump. You know, I'm speaking to a lot of the Latinos and Hispanics that were like, oh, he's gonna kick out those other people, the gang members, but not us, not my family. Yeah, how's that working out for you? And for all the black folks that voted for Donald Trump, saying like, oh well, he's a good businessman and he's gonna stick it to those immigrants who are taking our jobs. How's that working out for you as they call you monkeys and think you should be hung from a tree and watermelon people? How's that working out for you as they decimated DEI programs and decimated small business programs that help minority communities and are going and infiltrating HBCUs to try to rabble rouse and get people in trouble? Like, how's that working out for you? So people need to wake up and understand that it is the only way that we beat this back is if we band together to do JoJo's point and show strength. The righteous anger of the American people has created movements that have made change multiple times in the past. And this is a 5-alarm fire. It is a 5-alarm fire. And if we don't do it, we will lose this country. And I don't want to be part of the generation that in history books say lost democracy.
And I'll remind people there are serious cracks forming in the MAGA movement. I know that it doesn't feel like that, but there are serious cracks, and they're very self-aware of the damage that they're doing, and they're doubling and tripling down. While Donald Trump is on Air Force One talking about how he's not going to get into heaven, and he knows that there's nothing that's going to get him into heaven. He knows. They all know. So that is why,
and he wouldn't say that if he weren't dying. I just want people to understand that. Like, I don't know if it's going to happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 2 days from now. You don't start thinking about getting into heaven, and you don't start, because he's got no inner voice, right? Whatever's on his mind.
Right. He's no filter.
I don't know why he's thinking about the afterlife. All I'm going to say is Donald Trump is not forever. What we need to figure out is what happens the day after. And the day after is either J.D. Vance, who I think is even more dangerous than Donald Trump.
In many ways.
I can't carry a movement, that's for sure.
But he can carry a movement, and we need to be ready to exploit the fissures in that movement.
Yep,
that's right.
We are united. We may not agree on policy. We may not agree on tactics. You see that playing out in places like New York City, where Zohran Mamdani is not getting endorsed by, Hakeem Jeffries, and that's between them. And I really don't care. But we are all united in one thing. What we're united in is to restore democracy to this country. We cannot normalize this shit. We have all of cable television normalizing it. We have, to some extent, our leaders in Washington normalizing it.
Yeah,
we cannot normalize it. This has to be. This goes back to the No Kings rally on Saturday. We need to show that this is abnormal behavior, because we are living in a time when little girls are inconsolable, begging at the age of 7 to be hidden under a bed because masked agents are rappelling from Black Hawk helicopters and breaking down their doors.
Yeah. And if it's not the humanity component of this, which it should be in large measure. You all know what things are costing right now. You all know how much harder life has gotten. My electric bill literally tripled in 1 month. It literally tripled in 1 month. Like, I'm not alone in that. So like, if it's not what Julie's just describing, what we've all talked about in terms of their depravity and their overreach and their bigotry, if it's not that, just look around. You know what your reality is right now. They don't care about you. They don't care if you can't get healthcare. They don't care if you can afford your groceries. They don't care if your kids get measles. They don't care if you die from infectious diseases. They don't care about you. And you're starting to feel it. That's a huge fissure. If you ask me, not just in the base, but in those who didn't want to engage with politics, all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, my life has just gotten much harder, much more quickly than I ever could have imagined. So if it's not some of the issues of morality and decency, then it's that. And that is another space that we have to occupy and push open and say your actual reality, your kids' lives, your life.
1,000%, because it's the economy, stupid, and people don't change until they start to personally pay enough of a price, or it wakes them up, or it's their neighbor that got snatched, or it's their sister that got illegally detained, or they can't afford groceries anymore, or their kid who's in a special education program no longer has their special ed teacher because Trump's Department of Education decided that it's not worth it anymore. But they can give $20 billion to people in Argentina to bail them out. I mean, this is where the Democrat messaging needs to be focused on. Joe's point, what we did at Seneca with the betrayal theme in our ads about how Donald Trump has betrayed you and is continuing to betray you to benefit himself and his billionaire buddies. You are suffering in your family. You are losing your farm. Your military spouse is not getting their services. You can't pay for your dinner. You miss paychecks. Your chicken is unaffordable. Your kid is not learning in school. Your kid is getting sick and can't get vaccines. Go down the list. Because of your car, the average price now to buy a car is over $50,000, which is almost the median income of an average American now, because of Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with Chuck Schumer, nothing to do with Democrats. This is because of choices made by Donald Trump and his administration. Full stop. That's got to be it. You don't believe me? Listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm still soliciting people to help Seneca make ads with Marjorie Taylor Greene in it to do political asymmetrical warfare here. Democrats, I wish you guys would get it. Gavin Newsom's getting it, but I'm telling you, this is the asymmetrical warfare that gets that wedge in there to help that internecine warfare to wake people up.
You got to run those ads in Republican districts.
That is correct.
The same way that Michelle did the ad with Charlie Kirk's words, do the ad with Marjorie Taylor Greene's words.
That's right. And let them hear from their own people. Don't believe us. Listen to them in their own words.
Amen. Oh, did you do over it yet?
Yeah, we all did our over.
Yeah, we all did our over.
Yes, we can. We can end the show today. On that, we've got it all in, and we hope that we see you guys on Saturday for the No Kings rallies. If you go, take pictures, post them, tag us in them, so we can amplify it. And we'll be on the stakes tomorrow, Michelle and I, at 7:30 over at Seneca, and then Saturday morning, I think we have coffee and conversation. We'll figure that out. I might be on location out there doing it remotely, but things are still kind of in flux with that. But we'll be out there and standing together with the righteous anger of the American people.
Hell yeah. And tomorrow night, Tara, I have to coordinate this with you. We had talked about this. It's finally fully coming together. We're having a live event in advance of No Kings, and Ezra Klein is opening the show. And I'm hoping that Tara will close the show with these videos, one of these videos that are so incredible from Seneca. So Ezra's opening. We have a whole slate of creators who are going to talk about why it's important, why it's safe, why it's American. It's the epitome of being an American.
Ezra Klein or Ezra Levin?
Klein.
Oh, Klein. Okay.
From New York Times?
No, Levin. Indivisible.
Levin.
Yeah.
My brain. Wow. Sorry.
Too many Ezras.
Ezra Klein is not in good favor.
Right, not Ezra Klein. Ezra Levin of Indivisible. Yes.
Levin of Indivisible. Indivisible. See, I can't even speak now. I probably should not have had that second Red Bull. But look for that on my socials. Ezra Levin. Hi, Joe. It's fine. Everything is fine. We're not live. It's fine. So that's tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna do that for an hour.
Fantastic.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Sorry to Ezra Klein and Ezra Levin.
Go forth and stand up and speak out. We'll see you guys on Saturday for Coffee and Conversation and on our other things. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.